Welcome back, everybody. Excuse my lack of enthusiasm. I had a root canal today and a week-long tooth ordeal, so I'm not drunk. I'm not on drugs. I didn't even get my Motrins yet, guys. Bear with me, please. We have a guest, and our guests are extremely valuable to us on this podcast, and we respect their time, and I wasn't going to miss this for nothing, guys, so without any further ado, I would like to introduce Wendoline tonight. Do you have a business, or do you just go by your name? Do you have like a handle or a branded business, or are you just running under your name?
I just go by my name. I've always felt like
Awesome.
I
I love
didn't
it.
want I didn't want my name to be like Wendoline's Geckos or Wendoline's Reptiles. I just felt like my name was enough. Wendoline Garcia, I stand
Absolutely.
behind my name.
Love that. Love
That's
that.
kind of like how I am. Like, what you
Love
see,
that.
this is who you see. Like I try to be as transparent as I can.
Love that. One of the most powerful women I know, her name is Barbara Brock Zaccanini. She's two of my best friends' mothers. She's an extremely, extremely, extremely successful Manhattan real estate agent. She works with developers and sells skyscrapers. Like, she is an incredible woman. And when I grew up with my two friends, my two best friends, and she said to us one day as kids, she says, "Your name is your business. Your name is everything you are and everything you stand for. And everything you do is going to affect that name. So you make it good, or you're gonna put your name in the dirt. So I suggest you boys do everything in your power to make that name your brand." And it's always been in the back of my head, like, damn, like, people really take that for granted. Our names are what makes us, and even though some of us have the same names, our names give us our identity, right? And sorry, and right there at its purest form, that is our brand, And I love how you put it. You said it perfectly. That was beautiful, and it really registered with me. I love that. So for
Thank you.
everyone out there that may not be familiar with you and what you're doing, what is it that you do? What do you focus on? What are you? Tell us about you. Tell us
Okay.
about Wendoline Garcia and what you
Okay.
what's going on.
All right. So I mostly breed crested geckos and gargoyle geckos. So I've been breeding geckos for give or take 18 years, and I've kept
No
reptiles
shit.
roughly 25. Um, I've always loved reptiles. I've had all types of reptiles except snakes. Um, Mainly because people around me have phobias, so it's like, but I actually love snakes. Um, but yeah, I mainly focus on bull tiger crested geckos. That's kind of has always been my main project from the beginning, has always
They are
been bull
beautiful too,
tigers.
by the way.
Thank you.
Anyone out there that
Thank
hasn't
you.
seen them, you guys think that these tigers are the rave, and everybody's, things do come and go. Things get popular and they don't. I don't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt you. I just need to make a note of how incredible yours are. I mean, they blow away the best out there. Without a doubt, yours cast huge shadows to these guys that are making a name on their bull striped tigers and brindles and whatnot.
Thank you. Truly appreciate it. Like, from the beginning, like I wasn't one of those people that had to have every single color of gecko. I knew what I wanted. From the beginning, I got a couple of tigers, um, and I got a dark tiger and I got a yellow based tiger that they were produced by Kimberly Kay from Gorgeous Geckos, and she's been long time retired, but I give her credit for giving me the opportunity to buy these geckos that ultimately became my foundation animals. And that's kind of like, I'm just really grateful, right, that I was able to buy, these cresteds as well as a few gargoyles, from a different breeder. She doesn't want me to disclose her actual name, but she was breeding with assorted serpents and geckos. Um, but now she's no longer breeding. I asked her, 'cause she's still a good friend of mine, and she's no longer breeding them. So I literally have like the last stock that she had, and those are the ones. Those are the ones that produce. She produced truffle and kimchi, and truffle is my burgundy gargoyle
We'll
that
pull
she
them up in a
keeps.
little bit, guys.
Yeah,
So
that she keeps breeding. She keeps producing these. She's like my foundation gargoyle, and she
mm,
produces gorgeous burgundy type looking gargoyles. So I'm very blessed with that. So that's kind of like what I work with, just
awesome.
gargoyles. And then in regards to gargoyles, I work with red base red stripes. My goal is always to work on head structure, overall body composition. I like clean, straight, solid lines. So that's what I work with, So
Love it.
yeah,
One question about their tiger project.
yes,
Um, though you said 18 years you've been working with geckos.
yes,
How
give or take.
far back
Mhm.
does that project go? How old? Do you have any animals in your collection now that originate from those original animals you had 18 years ago?
Yes. Yes,
Really?
I
That's
have
awesome.
generations of
That's awesome.
tigers, and I still have some of the original geckos. So they're older now, and yeah, like people have asked me, like, "Oh, what are you gonna do when you're not gonna breed them anymore?" I'm like, "They're gonna stay with me for the rest of their life. These are my pets. Like, I am so blessed, and like for me, my geckos, they're not just my breeders, these are all my pets. First, like the most important thing, these are my pets. Yes, I happen to have higher end, right? Higher end pets, not pet quality geckos, but they're my pets. I love them. Like every time I find an egg, I get excited. Every time it hatches, or when I'm lucky enough that it hatches in my hand, it's like, oh my
Never gets
God, like
old.
it's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. You're like, wow, I helped produce this,
That's
so I
true.
never take it for granted, like at all. So yeah, like my tigers,
That's awesome.
I
You
have
sound like a very, very
generations.
humble person.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I really do try because I've worked very hard to have the collection I have, and I tell people all the time, like my story kind of like, I'm proud of where I came from as a Latina, right? Like, I'm from Mexico and I came to East LA when I was one, and I was extremely poor, dirt poor, and I've always worked 2, 3 jobs hustling. And every gecko that I've gotten was through hard work and saving the money. I never believed in buying just, like Petco geckos and stuff. Even though I actually worked at Petco for 16 years, I was the reptile specialist there, and I took pride in it. Like I know there's a lot of people who talk like, oh, they don't know nothing, but there are a
Yeah,
lot of associates that actually do know their stuff,
sure.
um, and we care about them, you know. So, and I was honestly there just literally for the relationships that I've established with a lot of the guests and their animal companions. So I love talking to people. I love developing the relationships, and that's kind of what I do within the reptile community, right? Like I try to be a positive role model per se, to try to educate
Beautiful.
people, and teach them like, hey, this is how I did it. I'm always open to answering questions. It's like I really enjoy the relationships that I've made with different people,
Awesome.
and the friendships that I've made. A lot of breeders have become such amazing friends with me. Um, but I think it's because I always thank them for their time. I introduce myself every time, which I think is so important, showing manners, showing manners, um,
People
introducing
be blown
yourself.
away how far to get you in life, just treating people how I say it all the time, but just treating people how you want to be treated. You'd be blown away with how many doors open just being kind to people. It's
Absolutely. And thanking them for their time. Like, hey, thank you so much for your time. Or, instead of like ghosting them or, I think that's really important. And like I said, I feel very, very blessed to be able to be where I'm at you know, especially because I don't have a humongous name, right? But it's okay. It's okay. Like I tell people, like, I'm so proud of what I've accomplished for someone whose page is private. I don't have no morph market. I don't have no website.
Oh, you don't.
I sell locally. I
So
sell
is that
locally.
we'll obviously get back to some
Yeah.
other things, but we're just talking, so
Yeah.
it's there's no format here. Do you first of all, how big, if you don't mind me asking, how big is your collection? How many animals do you produce about a year? And are your only so how are if you're not using a morph market, what are your sales avenues? Shows? Do you just doing them on your page? Talk to me
Okay.
about that type of.
Yeah. 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 For sure. So I live in LA County. LA County is really big on reptiles. You know, we have the Super Show, we have the both in Anaheim and Pomona. So there's a lot of people who love reptiles here. So I think I'm very blessed that I live in LA County. Because I'm sure if I lived, up north in California, I probably wouldn't be selling as much, right? But here, I feel like it's almost like the Mecca. A lot of people are willing
It
to
is.
drive. And that's the thing. I don't drive a lot. So I don't do shows. And the reason why I don't do shows is because unfortunately people expect your prices to be really low because you're competing with everybody. I don't follow the market. I don't follow what's popular. I price my animals accordingly to what I believe my animals are worth. So that's kind of what I do. So at the end of the day, people, decide if they want to buy my gecko. So a lot of times, I post a lot on Facebook groups. I'm
Okay.
constantly posting on Facebook group. There's so many SoCal reptile groups, so I'm constantly posting, and I try to be creative in how I post, so that way I don't use those trigger words. So I try to be creative in how I post my animals. Um, so yeah, a lot of times people will contact me privately. All my geckos that I post, I create collages where I name every single gecko that I'm selling. I name them and I put the hatching date. This way, it makes it easier for the consumer to be like, "Hey, Wendoline, I like bacon," or "Hey, I like Merlot. How much is Merlot?" And then I could be like, "Oh, let me look for his or her collage," and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, this one is this price." I do offer bundle deals. I do, especially if I see that people are driving, because people have driven from Vegas to my house.
Really?
Yeah, like from New Mexico, I've had people drive from Eureka, like so many different areas
Well, they're
that,
worth it if you ask my God's honest opinion. I see thousands of
thank you,
geckos and your animals make a statement, and that's I
thank
mean,
you.
it's without a doubt, you know.
I
Good for
mean,
you.
I see it as a blessing, honestly, because I
Sure.
feel like, wow, you could have easily gone somewhere else, but you decided to trust me and my production. So I'm grateful. And especially if people are willing to drive from far, a lot of times I'm like, you know what, you're driving over an hour. Let me go ahead and give you a discount for the gas that you're going to be driving. And, so I try to help people. And sometimes I will offer bundles. I'm like, oh, you like, okay, how many do you want? Which ones do you like? You know what? I'll cut you a deal. I'll go ahead and discount it. So I try to help people.
Nice. We'll have to do some talking later too, because I finally decided to start a tiger project, and I've narrowed it down to
Nice.
about 3 people of who I figured I would get my foundation animals from, and your name is on that list. So
Thank you.
now that I've been confirmed that I will be starting it, mm, I guess I start looking a little deeper. I'm real picky myself with how many projects and focuses and stuff I want. And I love tigers, always have. I just there was people at the time that were just making him so much better than I was. And not that I want to compete or was ever trying to compete, but I didn't see what I could do better. So I was like, they're nice, but now I have this whole tricolor tiger thing in my head that I really want to do, and I'm like dead set. I have a vision in my head of an animal, and now I'm gonna make it. That's typically how I
awesome.
do things. I see something nice, and I won't just buy it because it's nice. I want to make my own, so I'll have the animal I want to make, and then I'll go and buy the keys, if you will, to
Hmm.
make it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's
That's awesome.
your animals, and again, like I said, I see thousands and thousands of animals, and yours literally made it on my eyeballs for tigers.
Thank you.
It's good. It
Thank
should.
you.
I hope it speaks volumes about your animals. Very cool. So, what did
Yeah,
you start
it's
working with
and
first? And
going
I
with
know we're
what you're
all over the
saying.
place, but we'll
Yes.
come back and
Hmm.
forth. Did you start with Gargs or Cresteds? Which one did you start working with first?
I feel like it was
Really?
simultaneously. I feel like I had both, and yeah, like I want to say I had them both at the same time because I remember buying three, from that specific breeder, and then I started getting a couple more. And but you see, like I saw the two tigers that I bought from her. I was like, you know what? I think they're gonna look really cool together. And I really, right away, I started producing some really nice tigers. And then, you know, I ended up buying like another one. So that's the whole thing. Like I, this is something I was actually telling another girl the other day was like, because she was like, how do you know what geckos to breed together? Like, and I was like, I think that as you breed, you get to see how the babies look. And you get to see, oh, when I breed these two together, I'm getting dark tigers, right? I'm getting, really like dark phantom tigers. It's like, okay. And then when I breed these other two, it's like, oh, I'm getting them this way. And there's like, you know what? I want to make them bolder. What gecko can I do to produce that? So then that's when I would like go and look and try to see if I could find a tiger that would have, or a gecko that would have those specific traits. And then I was like, huh, I wonder if that mixing that one with this one would make, and that goes with what you were saying. That sometimes you have a vision, right, of what you want to produce. Before it was popular, I had thought about, oh, I wonder if you could do a tiger lily white. And then I was like, that would be so
I'm
cool.
actually working on it. I'm trying to myself.
Yeah. And I've produced a couple, right?
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah, yes, especially like this male called Torashi. And then I had a female named Love and Cajeta. And so the first time I produced it, I was like, awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. Like, it's so nice to visualize an animal you want. And then you see it and you're like, wow, so that's something that I've always done with my geckos.
can you
I have.
see me? Bear with me for 1 second, Wendoline. I'm trying to pull your page up so we can at least talk, but we'll have it going on. Um, what's the difference now? And I'm sure you know this, but it's kind of a selfish question here. What's the difference between tigers, brindles, and your triple X's? And
Okay.
where do yours fall in between?
Okay. So I have both Tiger Triple X geckos. Okay. And I also have your bold
Just for
tigers.
argument's sake, look at these
Right.
guys. Look at these guys
You know,
and tell me you see someone that this is just come on, man. Come on. Nobody's doing that. Like how clean that is. Look how
thank
clean these freaking animals are.
you. Thank you. That's
Oh,
Nagami and
sorry.
Ripple. So brindles, they tend to have very, very faint lines that I've seen that they tend to just come down from the dorsal to the lats, and they're just very faint, right? To me, a tiger, the definition of a tiger to me, okay, like how I see it, is a gecko where the stripe goes from one side of the lateral over the dorsal to the other side. So to me, that's a tiger, right? Like I want that solid stripe to go from one side of the lats over the dorsal to the other side. Okay. Now I do have some that just a couple of, I think it's been maybe a couple of years that I started um, mixing with a triple X male that was produced by Pangea. And because I was like, you know what? I wonder if the stripes would be more bold with that triple X. right? Because triple X in general, you'll see like the saddle, and on the sides, right? And I was like, I think if I mix that one with one of my geckos, I would get that, right? So I think that's the main difference.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's Nagami.
So,
That's
but it is
actually
still
her
basically the
bigger.
same
That
gene, just different expressions. What was that?
I would say so. I would say so. I would say so. I think it's just different. Like I wouldn't consider a brindle a tiger because brindles usually they don't go over the
Like
dorsal.
connected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not connected.
but what I'm if say all right, maybe I'm phrasing it wrong. If I had like just say somebody gave me a group of brindle animals, could I selectively breed that group of brindles and ultimately make tigers after X amount of years, or would I never get tigers? Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not.
that makes sense. I think you could, but it really depends on the quality of the brindle. Like if the brindle has, for example, like a pinstripe, because there's a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
brindles
yeah,
that
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
pinstripes.
yeah.
Well, if you breed
Oh, you're
that
right.
to
I never
another
thought about
brindle,
that. You're right.
if you breed that, or even you breed a tiger, let's say, to a gecko that has a pinstripe, you're gonna get a
Mm,
dash pin gecko.
mm.
And it's like, to me, I don't like dash pin
You're right. You're right. That's another gene
tigers,
you're
or
battling with.
yeah,
Pins a gene, so that's
yeah,
another gene that you're combating with, and
right,
like yours
yeah,
have no trace of it. And I think
no,
that's one of the things that's so alluring to me about them is that a
yeah,
lot of people do have these tigers that unfortunately do have like dashed pins. I mean,
right.
and not to say that they're not nice animals. It's just this back with these straps and these lines. These things are just
Thank you.
so much so insane.
Yeah, yeah, and then dash pinning is so hard to remove. So like once you have a gecko that has dash pinning, it's going to be really hard to remove it. Have I produced a couple that maybe have a little bit of dash pinning? Yeah, of course. Sometimes it happens. You could have the cleanest tigers, and then out of a sudden, bam, they have some out of nowhere Dalmatian spots come out. And you're like, oh, what happened? I mean, it's not a deal breaker either. If I get a spot or two, it's not a deal breaker, especially
Nah, it
when,
shouldn't be on
you know,
animals like these.
thank you. Especially when you have um,
Look at
really
this
nice
thing.
striping, really nice
Mm,
striping, because then that you could breed it out technically. It's just going to take a couple of generations. The spotting you could breed it out, but most people are not going to be that patient
you're
to
right.
wait
That matters.
three generations to get it.
Would this be
Get away.
considered like a dashed pin? See how he has?
That one does
Or
have
would
some
that
dash
grow out?
pinning.
Would that grow out? Would that go away
You
as he
know,
gets bigger?
this one actually, this one actually is one of my little holdbacks that I just recently started pairing the female to a triple X male. So
Okay.
that's Bailey, and so that's why that one looks so different than the other ones because it's a different female. Yeah, so
Still
I kind
beautiful
of like the
animal.
markings,
Hell
but we'll see.
yeah.
We'll see how it
Hell
develops
yeah.
as it gets older.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I mean, it's really small, but
Beautiful.
yeah, I
So what
tried.
about phenotypes in these tigers? If you, I know we had talked about like a dowel, spot will pop up and maybe some dash pinning will pop up. But have you ever paired tigers together and gotten something crazy like a harlequin or any type of other crazy phenotype, like a flame, or had complete suppression of the tiger gene altogether? Or tigers usually giving you tigers?
Usually, my tigers give me more tigers. Um, there has been a couple of instances of some of my girls that I actually have that some of them will have more of a harlequin pattern, like coming from the stomach. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes you can get a tiger that technically has more like harlequin pattern. Um, so yeah, sometimes that could happen too.
So I've always heard. Have you ever heard like I don't know if it was, Anthony and Jess from Little Monsters somewhere, but I remember hearing them say that there's basically like two line forms, right? Your tiger and then your pinstripes. And that the tiger is basically like a lack of pinstripe, and then when you get like, white walls, it's the tiger battling some other type of gene, or
Oh yeah,
I
I've heard
really
that.
don't remember, but they were making it. If I recall, it was two genes clashing that would create or I'm not. My head's not there right now.
Don't worry. You know what?
What is this? This is insane. Look at these
Thank
things. These
you.
are just so clean, Wendoline. Oh my
Thank you.
god.
Yeah, that's from,
And all
I believe, the
shades of them.
Stella. Right,
Have you
because
been able to
mhm.
make red tigers? What's up with red tigers?
um, I produced one that I know of, but it's been a while. And this is the thing, like a lot of times I tend to sell a lot of my babies before they get to a certain size.
Really?
So unless I see something super where I'm like, wow, this one is nice, then I'm gonna keep
Mm.
you. But usually I tend
What
to
are you
sell them
looking
small.
for? What are some of
Um,
those things you look for when you see an animal? If an animal's that small, what are some of the things, characteristics, or traits that will make you put an animal, a hatchling, right in a
right
holdback
as
and say that
holdback.
bad boy's not going nowhere?
Right. So usually I want them to be bold from the beginning because that's
Okay.
something I've noticed. When my hatchlings are bold as a hatchling, it will stay that way. If I see that the stripes themselves are really clean, like okay, I've seen a lot of tigers that some people have where the stripes themselves are connected. I don't like that. I don't like when the stripes are connected, like there's no space in between, or if they're messy, like if it looks like chicken wire. It's like
Mm-hmm.
some people have tigers where on the pinstripe it's really busy. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
that. So if I ever produce a gecko that looks like that, it's automatically for sale. I'm gonna grow it out a little. It's gonna be for sale. Um, for example, the babies that you showed, Ripple and Nagami, those from the beginning were super clean. They were actually really more orange. They were more orange, and those markings. But that's literally how they were as babies. Like
These
that's
things are
still baby, but
wild.
yeah, those are like my best. Honestly, I feel like those are like my best tigers that I have right now. So yeah, I'm very
Oh,
proud of
God,
them.
you got to put them in that gold standard Gecko Club thing and
That would be
take them
amazing.
trophies home.
Can you
Oh
imagine?
my
I would have to fly over
God.
there though.
Well, apparently this year they're allowing, and not that I suggest it, but they're allowing people to ship animals in. So if you have a friend going, you can ship a couple animals that you want to
Hmm,
enter without actually being there. Now,
that
again,
would
I
be
don't
cool.
suggest taking your most prized animals and doing that, but I am fairly certain that these two bad boys will be bringing home some trophies.
Thank you. I mean, that would be amazing
Is
for
this
sure.
tangerine influence or something? Why are they so orange?
I think
Or
it's a
what are you doing to get
combination.
that?
Okay, so I think it's a combination. I think it's because those, I believe that that is triple X. So he already has some tangerine to him. And then I bred them to, I know I have Tigger, and you see Tigger, and I think that's the mom. Tigger, she came from like the original stock that I have, right? That I originally got. And I noticed that I forgot if it's her dad or her grandfather, who was Hershey, he was a dark tiger, but his mom was a red phantom and his dad was a yellow based tiger. So when you breed yellow with red, you end up getting a lot of these oranges, or you get dark phantoms with the blushing, the red blushing, um, in the chin area. So I think that's why I keep getting some of these animals like that. 'Cause the mom, when she's fired up, she's orange, and she does have the red blushing.
Hmm.
So I think it's genetics, right? Like within the genetics, there's red and yellow. So I
Yeah.
think that's how you get it.
Not that you ever would, but just out of curiosity, what would an animal like this go for? If you were going to say, "Hey, though, they're both males or they're both females, or I got to get rid of one of them," what would an animal of this quality sell for?
So I've been offered 10,000 and I said no. So because these will be my breeders.
I
You
bet
know, I
someone
feel
gets their
I'm
hands
very,
on these, it's game over. They're winning the tiger game.
you know,
It's
'cause I'm
game
really
over.
proud of them, especially Nagami, which is the one on top. Nagami's really clean. Like Ripple's the one in the bottom, you know, it's a little bit more dark. But the other one is just, I love the base color and the stripes themselves. Like they're super separate and they're like really solid lines. So to me, that matters a lot. You know, I'm always trying to improve on my tigers.
Mm,
You know, so
that's
yeah,
that's
no,
something. I'm mesmerized, literally.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, and
So is
that's
this one of the part?
orangey.
Okay,
Sorry.
these are the burgundy gargs that
Yes.
Marcus.
Yeah. So this is orangey. This is I honestly believe this is like my best gargoyle production besides Baconator. So orangey, that's fired down. You know, her
Really?
mom is truffle. Her mom is that burgundy color. It's like it's not a scarlet red. It's like this, if I were to describe it, it's like a Merlot color,
Mm.
you know, and when they're fired down, they tend to look purple. So truffle looks really purple fired down. And
Where is Truffle? Can you show us
truffle,
Truffle?
yeah, let me see. Hmm.
Looking
You're probably
more.
going to have to go way lower because it's been a minute. I know I have collages of her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna be.
look, we got to come back because you got some cool stuff up here.
I have some possible head pixel. Possible. We're still trying to test it, like prove it out. You have to keep going down.
I'm getting distracted.
I have a lot. I have a lot of geckos. I have a lot of
Yeah, how many animals do you keep?
Oh, that's right. You were asking me that. So I have about, I want to say right now, I have about 96 like geckos in 6 quart tubs. So I have a lot of babies. And then I
Yeah.
have 20 bioactive tanks.
What is this?
Those are toys.
Oh, I was like,
they
what the
they
hell is
were given.
that?
I know they were. They're like little figurines. Those were actually given to me by
That's cool.
my good friend Leyline.
They're a
You
Korean
know,
thing, right? They correct. They have all the little. There's like a Korean
I
company I've seen on
I
eBay and
think so.
Amazon. They
I'm
sell.
not
They're
too
expensive, like
sure.
$100 for a little toy.
Yeah, my friend Heather at Leyline, she gifted
Hmm.
them to me, so I was really
That's
excited.
awesome.
Um, yeah.
So you have 90 baby bins,
hmm And I have
and
20 bioactive tanks for my adults.
okay, and that's
Yeah.
Gargs and Crested Geckos.
Uh-huh. Gargs and Cresteds. Yeah.
That says a lot. That's how you get these
Thank you.
refined collections. You know, you
Thank
don't need a million animals like people think. If you want to be really, really good at something, pick something and focus on it. You know, don't
Yeah.
give up. Stick to the script.
Thank you. Yeah, I try, you know, and I do have like a couple of Dalmatians, you know,
Mm,
but not too many. I just have a couple, and I'm really happy with that orange gargoyle. Yeah.
Look at
So
that. What is that thing? Oh man. All right. Where's this?
there's the babies. Yeah, I don't know where she's at. If
What
anything,
did
at
she?
least she's burgundy. But
That's
I've uploaded so many collages and videos, so it might take you a minute. I apologize. So those are some of
no,
the
no,
adults right
no.
there. Um,
This
you
one?
know, like
No, that's
no,
a
that one's a
baby.
baby. Like a little bit
Oh,
up.
right here. These.
Yeah, like
These like
yeah,
adult collages.
yeah, like that one. Let me see. That one is
Candyman.
Candyman. Yeah. So he actually is the dad of Orangey. You know,
Really?
that's the dad. And then that's the daughter of Truffle. So Truffle looks very much like that. And my goal with gargoyles is to produce bigger gargoyles. Truffle is the biggest gargoyle I have ever had. Um, she's humongous. That's a gecko I sold. And then, yeah, that's little tiger.
Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, I've produced quite a few geckos.
I imagine over 18 years.
Oh,
I looked the
there she
other.
is. There she is. So go up
This one?
there.
Okay.
Those
This one.
two are her. So that's Truffle.
Oh,
And
okay.
she's
Now I
big.
see.
She's like 80 something grams.
Great
And
head
she's also
too.
the length of her, she's big. she is so big.
That's a
And
hell of a head. Those horns.
yeah, yeah. And what I like about her, like, because sometimes people ask me, like, well, how much are her babies, right? And I tell them, well, her babies really depend on how they look. I'm not like, there's people out there who they're like, well, my line or, all the geckos start at this price, or all of them are this price. For me, I label them, I price them according to what I see. And these guys, her babies, they don't always start burgundy. Sometimes they're a little bit of red, like, or they start brown, and you have to grow them out sometimes until they're like a year for the burgundy to start coming out. So they're deceptive. But once in a while, you get some where as soon as it hatches, you're like orangey out of the egg. It was red. It had the stripes. It's a six stripe. It had everything, and I was just like, "Wow, that's awesome." Um, so yeah. So my prices vary depending on the gecko and what I see. Like if it has solid, clean lines, the price is going to go up. If the head structure is there, So it just really depends on how the gecko looks. But my goal for the truffle geckos is because I've kept so many of them. My goal is to definitely produce bigger gargoyles because I've seen a lot of people have gargoyles in their collection. Um, so that's orangey as a baby.
Oh wow! Like,
Yeah, and
whoa,
you
look at
see, and that
that!
was
What
literally
the
a month,
hell?
right? A
Look
month.
at that color. I see right there. I know he was special.
Yeah, she
Jesus,
was amazing. And when
that's a
I saw
girl,
her, yeah,
female.
I know I
Yeah.
was hoping it was a male,
So you're
but
keeping that? Yeah, that
yes,
one's not
she's
going
staying.
anywhere.
Yes,
Oh
she will become
man.
my future breeder. She's only 2 years and 4 months. So she's
Do
still
you
not
do
even
you
ready.
do you go by when you're getting ready to pair a gargoyle crested? What are your what's your criteria? Do you go by just a weight? Do you go by just an age? Is there a combination of things that you aim for? What are you looking for in your breeders to pair them?
So for my gargoyles, I want them to be at least 3 years old. Um, and they do have to have the weight. There's some gargoyles that I still have right now that they have not met the weight and they're already 3 years old. So for
Hmm,
them, I'm probably gonna have to wait until I think that's licorice. That's another daughter of truffle.
that's a
Um,
beautiful gecko.
thank you. I try to keep all her babies, honestly. I think I think what makes it hard with her is that she doesn't produce that many eggs. And I
Mm,
wonder if it has to do with the fact that she's so like like a bigger gargoyle because she's not fat. That's the whole thing. She's not a fat gargoyle. She's just really long. She's
mm.
biggest. She's very proportionate. But like when you see her, she's bigger than all my males. She's just a big girl, like
I hear
overall.
quite a bit lately because I only have one pair of gargs, so I'm not really, I'm not well versed in them. I admire them. I love them as a species.
Hmm.
Um, but I always listen to people. I love listening to people and hearing, about people's observations. And I've been hearing quite a bit about smaller males. Like people always talk about, I don't have large males. My male's 2 years old, 3 years old, and he's only 40 grams or 30 something grams. And people are always talking about, well, I don't say always talking about, but I hear a lot of buzz about small breeding age and male gargoyles. Is there something, is it just, do you think that's a byproduct of like selective breeding, or what do you think
I
that?
mean, it might be selective breeding. I mean, I think if you have two small geckos, the likelihood that your babies are going to be
Just make
genetically small,
smaller
I
guys?
feel like is kind of up there.
Yeah,
Um, but and sometimes you could be surprised. Because
sure,
even with
sure.
Truffle, I have some geckos that she has produced that are beautiful, but they're getting the size of the male. And the male is pretty big too, like for him to be able to handle her. Candyman is a good size. Um, But I've also seen people breed them too young. Like I don't, I'm not a fan of breeding gargoyles at 2 years, 2.5 years, or even geckos that have the weight, but I feel like they just haven't developed enough. I feel like some people are just breeding geckos just because they have the size. And that one I didn't produce. That one was produced by my friend Janine at Treehouse. And
Is this what is this a
she,
cap or a frap or something?
yeah, she is a red. Uh, what is she called it? She's a red charcoal possible cap.
It's
Yeah.
got to be. 'Cause I'm looking at it. That's the first thing I said is that's a cat. It's that orange is
Yeah,
cap
very
orange. That's a
pretty.
beautiful animal. I'm trying to make some
Yeah.
of those myself right now.
Yeah,
Beautiful
her
and
mom
beautiful,
is a
beautiful,
is a red. It's a red, and the dad is it's like a dark phantom cap.
beautiful.
So yeah, yeah. And then in regards to cresteds, I want them like for both cresteds and gargoyles, I want them to be old enough. So and also for me, it's like the age plus the weight. Like I don't care. Like I have gargoyles that at 9 months they're already 40 grams. You know, but those are Truffle's babies. She makes big babies. So at 9 months, sometimes I
It's good
have
to know that it's
gargoyles from her
genetic or
that are already
hereditary at
40,
least.
45 grams. Yeah, yeah. So some people are like, oh, she's ready. She's almost ready to breed. And I'm like, no, she's too young. Like I always try to explain it like, well, like us, like people, right? Like technically, we're able to reproduce, or get pregnant at a really young age. Should we? No, we need to
Really not.
develop completely. So I feel like same goes with the geckos. Like only because they're throwing out duds, it doesn't mean that they're ready. That's the beauty about having them in captivity. Like we know better, right? And when we don't follow certain things, that's when we end up with calcium crashes, or the gecko dies. And it's like, I'm not going to risk that. Like, I have plenty of male and females right now that are ready to breed, but I'm choosing not to breed them because there's no need for me to be breeding every single thing. I'm very focused on what's breeding and there's a goal.
I commend you on that. That's awesome. It's morals, ethics. It's good to hear other people still have them. It's again, unfortunately, a lot of people have that mentality like, oh my God, it's ready to breed. Who am I going to put it to this year? Oh
Yeah,
my God, I have two breeding animals. I'm just going to put them together because they're ready to breed animals. Like, relax,
yeah.
people. Like, damn.
There's no rush. And I
Not at all.
produce,
Oh, wow.
yeah, like in the past, I've produced about maybe 250 geckos a year. Sometimes less. I know this last year I produced less because I made the conscious decision to separate a lot of them. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna separate them. I'm gonna give them a break. You know, um, because I do cohabitate my geckos when they're breeding.
Me too.
They do. And I haven't had a single issue. And this goes both with my gargoyles and cresteds. I know that there's a lot of people who they're like, oh no, the moment that I try to cohabitate my gargoyles, there's issues. I think I think it's that my gargoyles have had them for so long that I know their personalities and they know each other. Like I have maybe one female that she is aggressive towards other like females. So, but this was a long, long time ago, that I had originally. I was like, you know what, I have a huge tank. Let me go ahead and put a trio. But I noticed that she wouldn't get along with any female. So I was like, nope, you're getting out. Same goes with males. She I know there's no such thing, but to me, I feel like she only breeds with alpha males. Like it has to be a male that is confident because,
Lychees do.
you know,
Lychees do.
yeah, like I really, at least that's been my observation. I don't know. I might be silly, but
I would
I
agree with you.
feel,
I don't think it's silly at
yeah,
all, Wendell, and I agree
oh,
with you. I mean,
okay.
that's nature's way of choosing the strongest mate, right? You have the
Yeah,
best chance of having the strongest offspring if you find the strongest male or female to reproduce with. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just nature's way. I mean, it's, lions. Look at most, predator species, and gargoyles are predators. Make no mistake about it. They are a predator gecko. If
Yeah.
they're looking for the strongest mate. Even like I said, leeches are notorious for battling. If a male can't subdue the female, not only will she kill him, but he's not breeding her. She will kill him. He has to
Yeah.
be able to dominate her.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because with that female, I only have one male that can get it done. The other males, she's like, nope. She will beat them up. And it's like, I'm like, okay, but I've never had, in the years that I've had gargoyles cohabitating, I've never have had any issues of gargoyles eating each other's tails, or, I mean, knock on wood, right? But I've
Right.
been I've been lucky, I guess. But also, I think I know my animals. I'm with them
So you
all the
seem
time.
observant. You seem
I'm,
very observant.
yeah,
I think a lot of those instances that we're referring to, and I'm not judging anybody, it's the last thing I want to do, but I think a lot of these people that are having these issues may be a little less observant than you or I. So I'm in my animals enclosures every day. I can tell you who's where, who's doing what, who likes what, who's not doing what. I can tell you what every one of my 300 animals is doing right now. I can tell you what my animals are doing. I know everything about my animals. I feel like some people will take two breeding animals and say, okay, they're ready to breed. I'm going to put them in a box or a bin or a cage, and I'm not going to disturb them for 3 days. Then you show back up and an animal's dead. Well, you
yeah,
missed all the signs. You missed
right,
everything. You should have been watching. You should have been all up in their business. You have to, as easy as these animals can be, it can go bad just as fast. You
oh,
need
absolutely,
to pay attention to your animals. Study their behaviors, their movements, their attitudes. Yes, they have personalities, and you'd be very hard pressed to find two that are identical. They're creatures, and it's our job as keepers to pay attention to them. Like yourself, I've never lost an animal to breeding. I've never lost a tail to breeding. Gargs, Sarahs, Chewies, Leechies, nothing. Have I had to separate an animal a time or two? I have. They paired them. Things weren't looking right for me to be comfortable. I said, okay. I put them in there. I'm gonna pull them apart. I'll reintroduce them to each other in a couple days. You know, that's it. Pull them out. I wasn't willing to just say, hey, go. I knew there was a possibility that it could go bad. So as a keeper, it was my responsibility to say, all right, time for you to get the hell out. And again, never lost a tail, never lost an animal. Damn sure had never showed up at an enclosure and had a dead breeder in there because they were battling for so long the one died. I mean, you see how tough these animals are, and I'm sure you've seen little spats here and there with overeating or something. You know how much it would take for one of these things to kill the other one? It takes neglect, and I hate to say it takes neglect on a keeper's behalf. You have to really have left them alone in there dueling for God only knows how long for one of these things to kill the other one. Like, it's not excusable, in my opinion. I mean, if you lost an animal in pairing, you can't just pass it off with she was an aggressive female or he was an aggressive male. No, you weren't paying attention. You weren't paying attention.
right. Yeah, because you could hear them, at night,
Mm-hmm.
especially, right? The males like, nya, 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 nya. you know. Then you're like, okay, cool. Make certain vocalizations where like, oh, that's the female. It's not like, but I'm surrounded by my geckos. I'm always surrounded by my geckos. I get my little spray bottle. I have like the gardening spray bottles, the spray containers, and I just go. As soon as I do that, they don't like it. Like they let go. Okay, vámonos. Each one in your own tub. And especially if I see, let's say I'm trying a new male, and I start noticing that he's just, I mean, in general, gecko breeding, it's not romantic. There's no romance. They see him, they're like, let's go, vámonos, and a lot of times it could look a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
especially for newbies. Like it could
Especially with
look rough.
guards.
Yeah,
Guards.
and with
But
gargs,
that's
sometimes but you could tell when a gecko is just straight up being, I hate to say it, but being dumb, and they're just biting the face and locking with the face. I'm like,
or
okay, dude,
charging, they
yeah,
puff up and they'll do these
yeah,
little mock charges.
and they'll
There's this
growl.
yes,
Have you ever heard a female
uh-huh,
gargoyle growl?
absolutely.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like a reverse, yeah, like a
yeah,
yeah.
I heard that a long time ago with one female. She did not like a male. And I was like, okay, sorry, honey. And I took the male and I gave her the rest of the year off. I was like, you know what? You're not ready. And it's okay. Like I pay attention to my animals. Especially
And that's
also
why
with
you do well.
and also thank you. Like the virgin males, sometimes you see them and you're like, what are you doing? Like, no. I'm like, you're just biting the heck out of her. You're not really doing. I'm like, you know what? You're too green. I'm giving you a timeout for a whole year, and maybe we could try next year. You could try it. And a lot of times, just by giving your male an extra year, a lot of times it allows them to be more successful the next time.
Maturity, of course. That's
Mm.
another. That just goes to show, you give them that time. What time does as far as maturing? I've had this conversation with people before, and when you look at these animals in the wild, the little bit of information we do have, they're not as popular as they are in captivity. They're kind of scarce. So I would imagine with as long as these things live that there's probably a dominant male that controls a range. These young males aren't breeding at 3 years old regardless. They're not. They're not. These males, if you've seen your pairs, how close that male is at almost arguably at all times. That male's very close to his female. Even if he's not breeding her, he's close. If another male was in the wild and came up into the picture, those two males are going to duel. The young male is never going to get to the female. The young male is never going to breed. In captivity, we see it because we introduce them. But in the wild, like most other animals, crocodiles, other types of reptiles, you got to be real lucky, or he's got to be excuse my language, a bad motherfucker. You got to take down the male that's already claimed her. It's I don't know how to explain it as well as I see it in my head, but you just see how animals live in the wild. And like I said, if there's a female and she's breeding and it's during season, she's been bred by a male, that male's not going far. He's staying close and he's damn sure going to pick up on any other male that's creeping in. So my point is that in the wild, yeah, we're breeding them at, 2, 3 years old in captivity. I don't think they're breeding that young in the wild. I don't think that they're breeding that young in the wild. I think that they've been claimed by an adult male who's probably upwards of 10 years old, if you want to know my God's honest opinion, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and he's doing the breeding, you know? It's
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
it's just a theory, but
I
I
wish we
watch my
knew for
animals'
sure.
behaviors and I study and I watch, and it just doesn't make sense. I have some smaller males of all species, lychees, not the gars, but crested, sarahs, all these other animals, and I look at them and I'm like, yeah, if he was crawling up the tree and his girl was there, this dude over here he's going to run that animal right off the tree. He's never going to get to that girl. He's never going to breed that girl. He's way too big. He's way too old. He's smarter the way they carry themselves, the way it's just, there's so much more to it than age when it comes to breeding an animal, age and weight. There's so many factors. Mental maturity is a thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, like their personalities, because I've had gargoyles where they're like super suave, like they're not aggressive. They'll see the female and they're like, okay, I see you. But they're not just like trying to go get her. It's almost like they know, like, oh, she ain't gonna go anywhere. And same goes with cresteds. I have a male that it took me 5 years to breed him. Um, and the only reason why I kept him is because he's gorgeous. His name is Gelato, and he's a huge tricolor that I bought a long time ago. And I was always like, man, like he just doesn't breed. And I've talked to, Jessica from Little Monsters. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, should I put different females? Should I take him out? Because I remember she had told me, and this was many, many months ago, the advice was like, well, maybe take him out, and put another male there just so he has like, so that way the tank has the scent of another
Hmm.
male, and it's like, okay, well, maybe do that. And nothing. He always was in the friend zone. Every time I put a female, all I would see is like he wouldn't even look at them. He would ignore them. And then later on, I will see them both close together and his tail would be around her. He'll be like chilling. And, and I would be like, what are you doing? But no eggs. Like for a year, 2 years, I tried different females, nothing. It took him 5 years to finally start breeding. And now he's breeding. Like now, every female I put there, he's cool. But I'm like,
What do you
really?
think it was?
Really?
Just
Just
mental maturity?
probably. I mean, because he had options. He had options. And no, and I tried the whole thing of separating them and, from a female for a long time because I would talk to my friend Barbara at Creepy Exotics, right? 'Cause she's the queen of tricolors. So I would talk to her and I'd be like, what do you think? And she would tell me the same thing, like, well, like just separate them. And I was like, okay, 'cause that's my thing. I'm always willing to learn. I stay open minded and I ask questions. And I'm like, what do you think about this? Like, I'm still learning. There's so much I'm learning. Um,
Good for you.
just like kind of what we were saying, that like 99% of my sales are local. They're local pickups. But I am shipping, and in the past I did ship a couple of packages, and actually this Monday I'm shipping two geckos, and one of them I'm actually like super, super excited. I haven't told like anybody really, but I'm shipping it to Colubra, and
Really?
and it's gonna go to Austria. So I feel
That's
like
awesome. That's
so
very
blessed.
cool.
I feel
They
so
they do some
blessed.
amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and I feel so good. Like I'm like, wow, like it's gonna
Is it
be
a
my
tiger?
first yes, it's a tiger,
Like
and
it's
it's
like I already see you're making up with the craze that's going on with these things right now.
yeah, yeah, and I just feel
You
like,
put these things in
wow,
front of the right eyes, and I don't think you have an animal that would sell for less than 5 grand. I mean, I
thank
mean,
you.
I think
I'm
that
super so like I feel
you have
so
what
so
people want
blessed.
right now, and the
Yeah.
sad part about the hobby is that things are trendy, right? Like
Hmm.
things get popular, they get unpopular, they're popular. And I've been doing this for 8 years or so. And when I started doing this, tigers, I don't want to say they weren't not popular, but there was a lot more people working with them than they are now. And then I kind of
Hmm.
just watched when the lily whites came, and then people started working with caps and fraps and all that other stuff. People just kind of stopped paying attention to tigers. But now here we are 8 years later, and everybody's ranting and raving about them again. And it's like they've been around, guys. Like you're acting like they're brand new or something. Like it's a damn
Yeah.
shame that they were kind of looked at like pet animals. If I'm being honest, eight
Hmm.
years ago, people looked at them like, it's just a brindle or a tiger. Those are just And I was always like, damn. I mean, the right person
Yeah.
gets their hands on them, you could do some badass stuff. And eh,
Yeah, and it's nice,
it's good to see the product of people that have been working with it that never backed off.
yeah. Yeah, 'cause I love tigers. I don't see myself
Good for you.
ever not breeding tigers. Like I
Good
said,
for
I don't
you.
follow the market. I do have noticed obviously that there is an influx of interest in it. Um
Mm-hmm.
and there's different quality that you see out there, right? Some are like low expression, some are high expression. Like um I think it's hard sometimes because also there's a lot of miscommunication sometimes, and people mislabel animals a
Sure.
lot. And so people will tell
Sure.
me, they'll send me messages like, "Oh, I bought this tiger," or "I'm thinking about buying this tiger," and I'm like, that's not a tiger. Like what makes you think it's a tiger? Like I'll ask questions, and then they explain to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, and that's the sad part too, that a lot of times people mislead other individuals, and they'll tell them, oh no, the stripes are gonna come out later. It's like that's the beauty of tigers, that what you see is what you get. Like as a baby, they don't change much. They really don't change much. Sometimes, if anything, the color itself might change. Like maybe they'll get a little lighter, or some of them will actually be more bold. Maybe they look like dark, right? Like almost black, but then at the end they're gonna be orange. So it just really depends. you know. So I think that's the hard part, that there's a lot of mislabeled animals out there, or misinformation. Because I had a gentleman one time get really upset with me because I told him that unfortunately the geckos that he had posted in a tiger gecko group, I told him, those are not really tigers, and it was literally a Harlequin Dalmatian, and then it was like another one. There was I think it was a red-faced Dalmatian, and then there was another one that was like a yellow Harlequin, but it was like a conglomerate of different genetics. But I didn't mean it in a bad way. Like I wasn't trying to be rude or anything, because that's not the kind of person I am. Like I'm not
No,
rude,
but people
and
just don't like that. People sometimes take honesty as being rude, and the sad
yeah,
fact is just they just don't like what they don't like the truth. They want us to pacify them. I mean, it's a problem, a huge problem, I believe, with society today. Is that people take if you tell someone the truth about something, you can be a racist, a sexist, or whatever, just for telling someone the truth. Like,
yeah,
I mean, guys, I mean, the truth is the truth. I'm trying to help you by being honest. It's not like you're being mean for telling them his Harlequin is not a tiger. You're being
yeah,
honest. But I get it. It's a
yeah.
hard.
It,
It's
it was difficult, and the thing was, is like later on we found out that he was calling them a tiger because supposedly the
that's what
mom and
someone
the dad
sold
were
it to him.
tigers. No, because the mom and the dad supposedly were tigers, and I told him, having parents that are tigers does not mean that your gecko is a tiger. Geckos are labeled according to what we see, right? If it doesn't have stripes, then it's not a tiger. If it's a phantom with Dalmatian spots, that's not a tiger. It doesn't matter that the mom was, that the mom or the dad were a tiger. It doesn't work like that. It's like lilies. It's either a lily or it's not, you know, only because the mom was a lily, but what you have, the baby, is a non-lily. That doesn't make him a het lily, or, possible lily. Like, no, like it's either it is or it's not, you know?
Agree, absolutely. Well, to a degree, because like I
Yeah.
said, even myself, I get confused between Tigers, Triple X, and Brindle. I always like if I catch myself sometimes, like what exactly is it? But you
Hmm.
make perfect sense when you say the Tigers connect over the back. I mean, that's a good, or is that Triple X's? Which would either it makes a big difference now. Well, at least with
Right. I mean,
Brindle, I can separate Brindle from Tigers or Triple X's now.
well, yeah, because the triple X are like they're your extremes, right? It's their third generation of extreme. So so you'll see a little bit of different marking, especially I guess the saddle. I think that's what they're called. You know, I think they're called saddlebags, like the thick black section that they have in
Yeah, it
the
makes
lateral.
sense. Like all
Those are
yours, right? Like how they go
yeah,
straight across the back, straight
yeah.
from lat to lat, right
Mhm.
across the dorsal.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
have different,
That's
right? I have tigers that, are mixed with extremes, right? With triple X. That's why called him triple X. It's also a play on words. you know, so triple X, and I bred him to my tigers. And then I have other tigers that don't have any extreme genetics, and they're just bold, So yeah.
Here's a good example. What is
Hmm.
what do you call this? Is this a tiger? Is this classified as a tiger here?
I would call that a tiger. Yeah,
Yeah, right?
yeah, that's a tiger. And I think that one is probably from that's Clementine. Actually, I no longer have her, but
Really?
Clementine actually
Man,
was
she's
from, yeah, 'cause I
beautiful.
sold her. So she was produced, well, by me, but it was from a dark phantom tiger male, and the mom was a red tiger extreme. Actually,
Really?
she was a red extreme, but she looked very tigery. The markings were beautiful, and but the mom I had bought originally from Serena at Campus Geckos. So yeah, so when I mixed them, yeah, I ended up producing that.
This she's oh my god, beautiful. Almost like a hypo, so light, so
I don't know how to explain it. I mean, unless I'm like losing my mind.
Well, I think
like
it's
that
because it's
color
an
is
extreme. It's an extreme. So with
beautiful.
that one, yeah, it's an extreme. It's a red extreme. Actually, you know what? I messed up. That one, Clementine, that one was produced by Serena, Canvas Geckos actually, and she's a red extreme, and it was from, I think it was GI Jane or GI Joe, but yeah, that one's considered a red extreme. Yeah, and this one I believe this is triple X. This is triple X from produced by Pangea. So when I breed him, but you see how the stripes do go across from the dorsal?
Yeah.
So that made me think, if I breed that to a tiger that already has the lines across the dorsal and they're still going from the lats to the other side, they're not just across the dorsal. Because I really dislike when geckos only have the stripes on the actual dorsal and not on the lats. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? That would be really cool with a tiger because extremes came from tigers. That's how you ended up getting them, right? So that's why I was like, okay, let me go ahead and mix them. And yeah, I ended up with some really pretty geckos.
Yeah, you did, yeah. Nice. You have a hell of a foundation. I can only
Thank you.
imagine the things you can do with some
Yeah,
of
and you
these.
just passed gelato, the tricolor that I was telling you. Um, Let me see. Just go right.
This one?
That one. Those two. Yeah, that's like a collage of him.
This
He's
is like what I
huge.
want to make a tiger out. I want a tiger these colors, like orange, white, and like that color. This palette right here is what I want to make like triple X's. That's my vision
Yeah,
when I
that
think
would
of
be
the
cool.
tigers I want to make. Those three colors, tricolor tigers, orange, white, and black, like a real tiger.
That would be interesting because at what point does it become an extreme, a tricolor extreme? You
I
know?
don't know. I don't want like Harlequin patterns, so I need stripe.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
don't know how you would do it. I don't know how you would layer
How would
them.
you do?
I don't know.
How
I'm gonna
would you
figure it
get
out
them
though.
the three colors? That's
I
that's
don't
that's
know.
my thing.
I
That
don't
would be
know.
neat though. That would totally be
The
neat. And then
stripes, you've only gotten stripes in one color. Like the stripes, are they always like the base color? Are the stripes always black, or have you been able to get different color? Like, have you been able to get different colored stripes? Or are
most
they
of them,
always like
no, most of them are
base?
usually like dark, like, yeah, like dark. There's been some that, like the yellow ones, they'll have the stripe it's not dark. It's a really light. It's almost like an
But it's their
orangey.
base color, basically,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what I'm saying. I
Hmm.
don't know if, that would be the
Yeah.
hard part.
And then that was Hershey right there, a little bit higher. The next one up, yeah, that was Hershey. So no, not that one. That's the son of Hershey.
This
The
one.
one a little bit lower. No, that's a different
What is
one.
that though? That's gnarly. That's
That
cool.
is a dark phantom empty back. Um, and then that was Slade. So just a little bit lower.
This one?
So nope, go to the left.
This one.
No, up to the left,
My left?
down,
This one?
down. My left,
This
sorry,
one.
that one. So that's Hershey. That was actually one of the foundational animals.
And what
I
do
no
you
longer
call that? Because you had another one
so
that had some crazy spots too
yeah.
as I was
So with
scrolling and I wanted to go
him,
back to.
he was produced by Gorgeous Geckos, and she had sold it to me as a dark tiger. Well, actually, back then, I remember we used to use the term super tiger. I don't know if you remember that. Back in the day, they would call them super tigers, but super tiger is just a bull tiger. So that's what she had sold it to me as a baby. And his mom is a phantom, a red phantom, and the dad is a yellow based tiger. So when I bred him to Estella, who's a yellow tiger, I ended up getting yellow base bold tigers. Yeah, but he was amazing. I really loved him a lot. Unfortunately, he ended up with a prolapse. Um, yeah, he ended up with I've only have had one prolapse in my entire career.
So
Of me
how
keeping
did you
geckos.
handle that? Did he wind up losing
It
both
was
hemipenes, or what
okay. So
happened?
it was really sad because I actually really really loved him. Um, I ended up getting into debt because the vets here are horrible. I had to inject him. They gave me injections for like with the needles to inject him. I had some that were frozen and some that were in the fridge, and every day I had to do that to him and give him some ointment. They kept trying to flush it, and apparently he had a clogged what is it called, hemipene. So he had too much like sperm, I guess, lack of better word. And they were trying, but it was so swollen that they couldn't. So then, because I went to different doctors, different vets, and then eventually, I ended up paying for him to have surgery. And when they gave him to me, he wasn't really moving, and I took him home, and he passed away. So, but I'm happy about him because I feel like thanks to him, my tigers are what they are today. Like I have a lot of his kids. Tigger, I have, I have grandkids that are from him, and they have produced some really cool looking geckos. I've produced both dark phantoms with his genetics as well as bull tigers. Um, so yeah, so it was really sad.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, if
sucks
I could
to hear.
have one gecko, like if let's say I had to choose, like I would just want him. Like I really
Really?
loved Hershey. I loved Hershey so much. But he was my best breeder. Like he didn't ask no questions. You put a female, 2.5 seconds, it was on. So yeah, but he
How
he
old was he when
produced.
you lost him?
I don't even know, honestly. Like I'm so bad with dates. Like I'm really
Yeah,
bad with dates. But yeah, like it was just really sad, you know. But that's part of it. That's part of
definitely never
keeping
easy. I know.
animals, right?
Yeah, you ain't
Sometimes
lying. Nobody.
sometimes
Yeah.
that's yeah, sometimes that's gonna happen. Some geckos either they don't thrive or I don't know where you're like, what happened? But with him, it was my first time really going into debt because I wanted to save him. And unfortunately, there was nothing that could be done. And so I lost him. But I have his grandkids, like and his grandkids are having babies already. So it's like I still have his legacy, and one of my males looks just like him. So, so yeah,
Wait, I'm trying to find one now. I saw one up here somewhere that looked
like him.
kind of crazy like that.
Oh,
So he is technically carrying the tiger gene, right? If you're
yeah.
producing tigers out of him,
hmm Yeah. Some people would label him more as a dark like Harlequin, you know.
yeah, I
Um,
wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would say
mm,
I don't know what. That's why I was asking you, because I God only knows if I saw him on a table or something, I wouldn't know
yeah,
what I would think. I would
yeah. I mean,
that
he's
would just be a
produced really
very
nice. Yeah. He's produced both really nice bull tigers, like clean bull tigers, as dark phantoms, like just straight dark phantoms.
quick random offbeat question. So what do you think is causing this on these lily whites? I keep making these and I don't know what the hell is causing it, but my lily whites don't come out white anymore. They come out with this orange color everywhere.
I think it might be the like some of the tangerine, like the
It
mom
is,
for
right?
that one. Yeah,
Tangerine.
yeah, it's tangerine. I think the mom that produced that one is a soft scale. It's a red soft scale lily white, and then the male is a dark phantom tiger. He's actually the son of Hershey. So um, I think I think somehow the genetics, like I said, in Hershey's genetics, there's red and yellow. So I think that's like a
Both
combination that
phenotypes.
somehow, gets in there. And that's barbecue. I call them barbecues. It looks like the barbecue grill.
Incredible. Just an incredible palette here.
Thank you, thank you.
What is this, the same one? Another one. I didn't see this one either. Look at
No,
this.
I think that's tobacco. Yeah.
Who is this out of? What are his parents?
Who is tobacco from?
Triple X and Bailey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bailey. Yeah. That's one of the daughters. This is her first season. So right now I'm holding back all the babies. So this one comes from Hershey's Genetics. So these are the possible head pixel.
I was just gonna say. So what? This has got to be where you're talking about the pixel thing here.
Yeah, but it's not a for sure thing. It's being tested. I know that right now, Kristen, she's actually trying to prove. She's testing one of my males that she bought from my Lily White and my Dark Phantom, and then later on, I'm
Kristen knows
planning.
everybody I talk to. Like everyone I
Yeah,
talk to, she's one of my homies, man. Kristen's
she's
like the coolest
amazing.
chick. I love her. Yeah, like
I have so much, respect for her. I always tell her that she is the hardest working woman out there.
she's badass for sure.
She is, and she's super sweet, and she's always willing to answer questions. And God knows I ask her a lot of questions. She's amazing.
She's
Yes.
definitely walked me across the fire a few times.
Yeah, and I'm actually supposed to send the possible pixel waffle to her once he's ready, to test him out and see if we could prove him out, but I just think it's neat. Even if it turns out that it's not a pixel, like, I don't care. I think it looks cool, whatever it is. And what makes me more happy is that it comes from the genetics of Hershey. So I feel like even though he's not here, he is. And he still keeps blessing me. Like I'm just so grateful to my animals, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. Like a lot of times our geckos, I'm sure other people can relate. Sometimes our geckos pay the rent, or sometimes they pay a bill. You're like, oh, thank God, and I'm just really grateful to have them. I feel like our animals give us more than what we give them. So
Absolutely.
just grateful.
Absolutely. I know we're talking about geckos, but I say it about dogs all the time, man. Humans don't deserve them. Humans do not deserve dogs.
Absolutely. I agree. I used to have 2 dogs, and they passed away a couple of years ago. And I think one of them was 20 and the other one lived to 19. And it was devastating. Had them since they were 4 weeks old. And, after that, I was like, no more dogs for now. No more dogs. It's
Say it all the
very
time.
painful.
My dog just turned 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never let myself love a human as much. I'll never let myself ever in this lifetime love anything as much as I love that fathead. And it's just dangerous. It's again, he's only 4, but boy, I'm in for a world of problems if anything ever happens to him.
Yeah. Well, because they give us unconditional love. And same goes with, like, our reptiles might not be able to give us affection, right? They tolerate us. That's what I always tell people. Like, we want to believe that they love us, but in reality, it's more like they tolerate us. Some of them are more tolerant than others, but they give us something. They give us something to do. It's like, I know that if I didn't have my reptiles, I'd be sad. I'd be depressed. They're my therapy. Yeah.
This gecko is just mesmerizing, by the way. I just...
That's Nakami. That's the one that
Yeah.
it's bigger now. There's the video that you first showed.
Every time I scroll by a different picture of it, I gotta stop. Like I'm like,
I actually posted, I think today, I actually posted. That's Ripple. That's Ripple.
This is the other one, right?
Yeah, remember in the video they were both together when they were little? So now they're bigger.
That's something that's so special. That's like
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. So yeah.
So what are you gonna do with them? Who are you gonna do? You have mates picked out for them yet? They're not breeding it, are they? Are they breeding?
They're not breeding yet. No, they're not breeding.
Do you have mates picked out for them? Do you know what you're gonna do with them, or who you want to pair them to?
I have ideas, but I don't know yet.
I'd think it about
So
too. I wouldn't put anything in stone. I'd think
yeah,
about
I'm
it.
not 100% sure. Um, yeah, because like some people have been asking me like, oh, what are you gonna breed it to? And I'm like, well, I don't know yet. It's not time yet. Like I'm not in a rush. I don't rush things. I like to really like take
Yeah,
my
sometimes
time and
the daydream is just as fun, right? To envision
Mhm.
all your options and the 10,000 possible outcomes, It's almost disappointing when you pair something and it comes out other than you wanted and you're like, it's just not
Yeah,
a pair. And I kept thinking I'd get this or something one day.
yeah, exactly. So it's true.
This
It's true.
triple X is a male. This is
That's
one of
my
your
male.
males.
Remember you showed a video of
He's
him?
making heat. Well, I've looked at a bunch of different babies and I've seen his name
Yes.
pop up in a few
Yes.
different pairings, and
Mm-hmm.
all the ones I'm stopping at are triple X kids. He's a
Yes.
smoker. He's making some real heat.
And I love it because you don't see a lot of the black that he has when you breed it with my females. So I really like that, because he has a lot of black. Triple X in general has a lot of black. And when you're breeding him to my females, I'm noticing that it removes the black and it just makes the color just look a little bit different. So it looks a little bit more like monochrome, but not to say like those geckos they have that label of monochrome. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just the color just makes it different.
The
But yeah,
oh so
Triple X, I
controversial
think I bought
monochrome.
him. Yes, by Edgar. Edgar's awesome. I love Edgar.
He's from
I've known him
Pangea,
for
right?
many,
Your
many
triple
years.
X, your triple X is from
Yes,
Pangea. Yeah,
from Pangea. Yes, yes.
I could look at this gecko all day.
Thank you.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm really thinking a lot, and like people have been asking me like Orangey. This is Orangey fired up.
So, yeah.
Earlier you saw a video of her fired down where you just see the red and it looks like purple.
I love everything about this gecko. The
Thank you.
saturation, the structure. I love her head structure.
Thank
She's
you.
got like a perfect, not just horns, but eye, the snout, the little hump of a nose they get, like
Yeah,
some don't have that. I love
yeah,
that. I don't know how to
yeah.
explain it,
They're
but
more
it's
pronounced, like her.
crocodile almost,
Yeah,
like a
yeah. Truffle's
crocodile. I
features are
love
more
that.
prominent, I guess. That would be the word, possibly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. Actually, I got a message today. They were asking me like, "What are you gonna breed her to?" And I'm like, "She's only 2 years and 4 months. Like, she's not ready." I'm like,
Leave her
and I
alone.
w-
Let her
and
breathe.
also the bad part about a lot of the females is that once you start breeding them, like they start losing their color.
Mm,
And I think it's because of the male, like it's like scarring her and stuff. I mean, that's just my
sure.
idea. I could be completely off. Um, that's just my thing. I've noticed, like, oh, so I'm careful, and you know, I don't want to like mess her up. Like I want to
Right?
make a
Some
conscious
animals, there are
decision.
pets, but not everybody thinks the way we do. I know, and some people
Yeah,
literally just every animal is just a breeding option. Like I'm super passionate about Chihuahua. I have some Chihuahuas, they're not getting paired. I don't care what they will make. I don't need to. I have them. That animal's not for sale. It's never going to be for sale. And I just, like, I don't want her getting beat up. I don't want to worry about her in another enclosure. That's my baby right there. She's
yeah,
just going to be fine the way she is. She doesn't need a mate. She doesn't need anybody. She's just,
yeah.
leave her alone.
She could be gorgeous just by herself.
Hell yeah.
She don't need no man.
Definitely doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I probably will breed her, because right there you see the first video. That's Orangey and Baconator, and Baconator, believe it or not, is only like 9 months old. But that
And they're
tells
not
you,
related. They're
yes,
not
they
related,
are.
are they? Oh, they
Yeah,
are.
they're sisters. They're sisters, full
Uh,
sisters from Truffle. And
okay,
people are
okay.
always like, Orange is
Full
the one
circle.
on the left, like near my thumb, and Baconator is the other one, I believe. No, it's the other way around. No, so Orange is the one by
Is
my
this one with
pinky,
the
yes,
this one?
and the
Yeah,
other one is Baconator.
I can
A lot
see
of
by
people
their
like Baconator.
belly,
It has those like, oh my gosh, like I love her. I
color
love
of
her
his
so much.
stomach,
It's, yeah, like not only does
her
she have the
stomach.
saturation, She has clean, straight lines. Like the lines are straight, they're solid, and she's only like 9 months and she's already 40 something grams. And I tell people because they're like in the Gargoyle Gecko group in Facebook, they're like, "How did you get her so big?" I'm like, "I'm not doing anything special. Her mom is just big. She has the big genetics. That's it." You know, she hardly even eats worms because that's what I feed sometimes.
I
I
was just going to
feed,
say, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's
yeah,
talk about diet and what you're feeding because you clearly have some extremely healthy animals. And
thank
I'm
you.
curious to know what you do with your husbandry. I know you said you keep them in bioactives, but let's
Mhm.
talk about some feeding and supplementation and that type of stuff.
Yeah. So I feed them Pangea, a fig and insect, as well as apricot. Those are my main two that I feed. And I also feed Repashy banana cream pie and the mango, not the super mango. They hated the super mango. But the regular mango, I gave it to them. They love it. Um, they really do enjoy the banana. The most popular one is Pangea fig and insect. That was the
All
most
my animals
popular.
love fig, anything
And
fig.
yeah, and for me, I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I'm not gonna be trying other foods because right now I know that right now there's other foods that are popular. For me, I feel like I'm not gonna try it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is what they like. I like the price point, because I always buy the 4.4 or 4 pounds of food, and I usually buy in bulk, and I buy it from my friend Melanie at Vertopia Geckos, and because I love how she ships. It always arrives to my house, so it's really nice. And I also buy sometimes the liquid calcium, to supplement the females. At least once a month, I give them that. And I noticed that when I started adding the liquid calcium, that they actually were producing more eggs, and they were like way better, and that I actually got from my friend Kim from the Gecko Geek. She had told me like, oh, if you try this, it might help you. And I'm like, oh, but that was like many, many years ago. And I was just like, you know what, let me try it. And I tried it and it definitely worked. And I was like,
Brand.
okay.
What brand are you
It's
using?
called what is it called? I know that Bertopia has it. I think I have
There's a
some
few
right here.
different ones, and
It's
I've
called, what is it called? It's the one that she sells, Bug Delight or something like that. I think that's what it's called. Is it called Bug Delight? I don't have my glasses, so I can't
we'll,
see it.
we'll look it up
Um,
and put it in the show notes for everybody out there
oh
that may
yeah,
be.
it is. It's Bug Delight. I could see it. It's because I'm farsighted. So I'm like trying to look at it. But yeah, it's Bug Delight. And you
Bug
just
Delight. I want to look it
hmm?
up myself because the one I use, if I put too much in, my animals will not touch their food. I use just the Exoterra or some Exoterra liquid calcium,
Oh,
and
well,
it's
this
not.
one she gives it to you in a syringe, and you have to give it to them by syringe. What I love about it is that you don't have to prop the mouth open. Like they like it, and you could buy different flavors.
It's flavored,
Just
right? I was
like
just gonna say.
yeah,
Oh,
they
here
have
it
like
is. Yeah.
mango,
Okay. Bug
banana.
Delight.
And it's not expensive.
Cheap,
And
damn, that's a fraction of the price I paid for that other one.
yeah, and it's such a great product. Such a great product. And so I do that.
Organic.
There's so many flavors, and as soon as
Yeah.
the
Wow.
you just gotta make sure the measurements are correct, because since it's liquid calcium, a lot of people don't know that um, it goes straight into their bloodstream, and if you put too much, your gecko could possibly die. So it's you have to definitely follow the chart that she sends you. You have to weigh your gecko and make sure you're um, giving it like the appropriate amount. So I do that. And then sometimes I do the herb bite. I'll give them a little bit of herb bite when I do buy crickets. I hardly do crickets. Um, but I mean, everybody in my house says that it sounds like you're camping outside because I'll buy like 400 crickets at a time, and I give them. I mainly put crickets in the bioactives, and they go hunt. It's like it gives them something to do, and I notice that they really enjoy it. Um, and I dust it with calcium. What is it called? Mineral
Mineral.
calcium.
Yeah.
Yes, I do that. So I do that, and then I switch from that to the herb. So
How often are you giving calcium every time you feed, or do you give calcium once a month? How frequently are you doing calcium, either form, I guess, dusting or the liquid? Is it
so
like a
for
once a month
me,
thing?
yeah, so for me, the liquid is once a month. I know that there's some people who do it twice, but I do it once a month, and that's sufficient for me. I noticed the difference. Um, the powder one, that's only when I feed crickets, because the Pangea, that's a complete meal, so you don't need to be adding anything to it. Sometimes what I do is that I blend freeze-dried mealworms that I buy online. I buy from this place. They're from the U.S. and they're organic, and you blend them with Pangea or Repashy, and it just gives them a little bit more protein. You just got to make sure that you don't put too much, because I think it probably doesn't. I think it takes away from the sweetness, and then sometimes the geckos don't want it. So you have to like make sure you don't overdo it. Yeah, and I feed the babies every other day, and then the adults, maybe twice a week. It just really depends. Obviously, if I bought a bunch of crickets and I threw them in there, they're set for, a couple of days, so. And then if I'm feeding crickets to the adults, I'm not putting Pangea or Repashy, because then it goes to waste. Crickets are not the smartest, and they they always happen to end up in your water on the ledges, and you're like, ah, like really, that's
Hmm.
10 cents right there.
So
So yeah.
what are you doing with do you use an incubator, or are you just resting, or you putting them out at room temp?
So room temperature, I literally have Tupperware containers, and I have a Tupperware container for every pair. So for every female,
Okay.
and
Nice.
it's labeled. That way I don't have to worry about like, oh
Oh
my gosh,
yeah.
I opened the
Yeah,
lid.
yeah.
Whose baby is this? Like,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
there's with me,
That's
there's no
smart. I never
chances.
thought about doing that. Damn,
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that idea from you. Every pair could just get their own boxes.
Hmm.
I use the tackle boxes, the
Yeah.
fishing ones, so I have like 60 clutches in one box, and I put tape on them and mark them. But it's just so much better and streamlined if I just have every pair have their own designated box.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, and I
such a
could see
better
the
way to do
benefit
it.
of both, right? I could definitely see the benefit of both. Um, with the tackle box, you're saving space. Absolutely. I mean, I
Kind of.
literally have, I almost have what? It's not 20. I don't have 20 pairs that are breeding right now, because I have literally some geckos, some tanks that only have one gecko. It's just that they're too big. So she or he gets their own individual tank. But I
Nice.
think right now I have like 12 pairs. So I have 12, 12 containers. So can you imagine? And these containers are food containers, that you could buy at Walmart. They're meant for like your lunches. So I put dirt, like I use reptisoil as the medium, and I moisten it, and then I just do an indentation with my finger, and I put the egg, and then I put the lid, and I put a label, and on the label is where I put, okay, to, and I'll put like the month and the date, and that's it. But I like both ideas, but I do like my containers, because this way there is no question of who are the parents,
Sure.
like
I like it.
none.
I
you
think
know
it's a brilliant idea.
it just
So
takes a lot of space.
are you using lay boxes in your bioactives, or I mean, it would make sense, right? When you dig up the egg,
Okay.
do you candle them and mark them, or how are you collecting the eggs out of your
Okay.
bioactive?
So, excuse me. My bioactives I'm using that crate, so I have all the layers, right? Like the hydro balls, the ABG mix, charcoal, and then New Zealand sphagnum moss, magnolia leaves, all of that with isopods and springtails. And then on top, I use that crate, right, the aquarium crate. And then on top, I do have a lay box with moss, with more sphagnum moss that I keep moist. The majority of my geckos will lay the eggs in there. There's some that I didn't know that they could still squeeze themselves. You're like, wow. But I guess because cresteds their skeletal structure is so thin, like they really can squeeze themselves in there. And I always know because I see the tail, and it's like the tail marker, and I'm like, I see you. What are you doing? And then I just let them be, and then I go and I search. But I did before. I didn't have the the crate. Um, but I was like, man, every time I go in there, I'm making a mess. I had dirt everywhere because you have to take out the cork flat, and 'cause that's what I have in my tanks. I have a cork flat, I have a fake plant. I don't do live plants because if you do live plants, then you're gonna need lighting. I don't do lighting. You know, um, for temperature regulation, um, if my geckos are comfortable, like if I'm comfortable, they're comfortable. If it's getting cold, I use my portable room heater, that I put at a certain temperature. We're good. If it starts getting hot, I turn on my AC. Like it's very simple, very simple. I know some people like to go all out and provide misters and lighting, and of course that looks amazing. Like all of mine are exoterras,
But you don't have to. You got
you
to do
know.
what works for you. You
Yeah,
have to find your system. It's
yeah.
I get it. Trust me. I tell people all the time. People look and like, oh, this person does this, and this person does this, and this person does this. It's great. It works for them, but you have to find what's most efficient for you in your lifestyle, your home, your setup. It's more than one way to skin a cat, and fortunately
Yeah.
for us, these are super resilient animals, and they can tolerate multiple housing environments. I mean, let's be honest. Guys in Korea keep them in plastic bins with foam tubes and paper towels, and they
Hmm.
make incredible animals.
Right.
It's you got to do what works for you.
Yeah, and your budget, there's different ways. Like
Absolutely.
these geckos, like you said, they're so resilient, they're so forgiving. And as long as their needs are met, you're good. Because if geckos don't feel comfortable, if they don't feel safe, they're not going to breed for you. Because I've had friends who are, that they're bigger than me, right? Like they keep bigger collections, and they're like, God, Wendoline, your geckos are always breeding. They're always producing all these babies. My gargoyles have not produced anything for me. And I'm like, I don't know. They like my. I feel like it's like Ace Ventura. Like literally, I could hear them all night. They love my apartment, and it's like, okay, cool. But everybody's gonna be different. Just like I don't have rack systems for my babies. They're just tubs, 6 quart tubs that I buy at Home Depot. And I buy them at Home Depot because I like the lids to match my decor. Because that's how I am. I want my animals to be part of the decor in my house. They're part of my home. They're not just, I don't want them. You know how sometimes you go into people's houses and then there's like that eyesore? Like, I don't want that. I want them to be, aesthetically pleasing. I mean, if I could, I would love to get some, Tamara design, PVC enclosures, but I can't afford that. It's more of a want, not a need. I have 20 exoterras that are discontinued. And for me, I'm like, me buying that or buying a rack, that's it's not a need. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
Plus my 6 quart tubs, I keep them on cube furniture. Like the cube furniture you buy at Target and stuff, because I want things to be functional. I want my furniture because they're cubes. Each cube has the supplies, so you don't see the supplies. I want everything put away, but that's me. I
Good
like
for you.
I like things to be clean,
Me
and
too.
organized. So, I mean, people tell me when they see that I'm cleaning babies, they're like, I've had people comment, you need racks, you need rack system. Like rack systems only work if you don't have furniture because they usually start from the floor up. But if you have cube furniture that where you would have to put them on top, well, that's not going to work for you. Yes, it would save me time because I wouldn't have all those lids, but it's okay. Like,
I like the lids. Gives me time to check on my animals every day. I don't mind it. I hand spray, and I like my lids. I own a half of a company that makes racks. I don't have racks. I don't have
yeah,
racks. I want my bins. So I open the top. I look at the animals. I hold them. I'm checking them out. I'm cleaning. It's what works for us. It works for you. Who cares what other people are doing? I mean,
No, honestly, it gets me kind of aggravated
Yeah.
when people recommend, especially to like a seasoned breeder, like, did you think that maybe after this long I'm doing it this way because that's what I prefer? You don't have to keep suggesting and recommending things for me to do. Like, I get it. I keep lids because I like lids.
Yeah.
You know, when
Yeah,
I'm cleaning the
exactly.
bin, I got the animal on the lid, you know, so I got the animal over here
Yes,
hanging out on the lid while I'm cleaning the bin, and it's a nice little easy transition for me, you know?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm not putting them in a little cup while I'm cleaning the bin. Yeah, no, that's too time consuming, at least for me. I know that everybody has their own method, and it's okay. You do what works for you. At the end of the day, my animals are being fed, they're being cleaned, like it's good, you
Very
know.
healthy animals, yes. Very healthy
Thank you.
animals. No one can, nobody can deny that. Very, very healthy animals.
Thank you.
So we're almost at 2 hours now, which is actually impressive. I didn't think I was going to make it 45 minutes, though, I'm being
I know
honest.
you're doing an amazing job.
So, we do have to start winding down, and that's not because I'm not having an amazing time. It's simply because people's attention spans are not as long as ours are. So that's usually why I always say I usually keep it to an hour. We haven't done a podcast that's been an hour yet. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I haven't done a podcast that's an hour because I get to talk to people that we have things in common with and have legit good conversations. No script needed, no the only thing we need is a topic, right? The animals and the conversations will take themselves, you know, and I could sit here and talk for 4 or 5 hours. The sad part is we're trying to convey information and introduce you to the masses. People won't always see the good stuff, and it hurts my heart. It really does. Like when I say I had a 2 hour conversation with somebody and I look at the statistics and the schematics on like YouTube Studio, and it's got, 12,000 views, but 1,000 of them only made it to 40 minutes. The other 6,000 only made it to an hour. So there's a whole nother hour of that podcast that people never even watched. And it kind of,
Yeah.
it sucks, and I'm a huge fan of long form. Oh, here we go. Long form videos. I get in the gecko room and start cleaning, and I just want to put one video on and listen and watch and go for, it
Yeah.
takes me hours in there. I get in that room and I'm in there for hours.
Yeah. You get to listen to it in the
Last thing I want
background.
to do. Well, yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that too.
What other podcasts do you listen to? Where are you gathering your information? Like if you wanted to go, other than talking to people you're friends with in the hobby, like if you wanted to go and get some good information about reptiles or your geckos, what sources do you use? Do you use books? Do you use Google, iNaturalist? Where are you getting your information?
Well, a lot of the information I've gotten, I mean, most of the information that I have, it really has come from other breeders, people that I trust, and that have been in the hobby for a long time. Um, I've also read like the Little Monsters book, right? Um, that one is a little hard for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little hard
Scientific.
because, yeah, I mean, it's it can be difficult if you don't know all the terminology, right? If you know the terminology, you know the terms, everything, then it's easy to read. But I think it can
For a
be
beginner, it'd
difficult
be
for
complicated.
a beginner.
Yeah,
Yeah, and even for me sometimes, like because I feel like I'm like an old school breeder, right? Like we didn't have all these genetics and all this stuff. Like, it was more like I don't want to say it so simplicity as like, oh well, we thought these two geckos were really badass looking, and let's go ahead and put them together. But it was it kind of
oh, I
was,
do
you know,
it.
and it's like so like I for me it's kind of hard. But you see, then again, I won't keep things. I won't keep morphs that I have no clue about. Like it doesn't interest me. Like I wasn't that person that needed every single morph because I was like, oh my gosh, that one's beautiful. This one, no. I knew from the beginning what I wanted and what I invested in. You know,
Sure.
if I want more information, I mean, sometimes I look at videos. Sometimes I do listen to like the Gecko podcast. To listen to other breeders, but then again, it's the same thing, right? Like I'm listening to other breeders, and their experiences and what they think. because I feel like you could always learn from people,
Sure.
and their experiences. Like you don't have to make their mistakes. Sometimes you could learn from other people's mistakes, right?
Sure.
Even when some people don't want to discuss certain mistakes, right? Because nobody wants to get canceled, you know. But it's good. It's good to know. And so a lot of most of my information is that, you know,
Sure.
back in the day, it was from my job. 'Cause like I told you, I worked at Petco, right? But then I did a lot of research myself and looked at books because for me, Petco didn't train me, right? They didn't really train me. They give you some basics, but all the knowledge that I had about every product, every animal that we had there, that's information, that's time that I took away from my job that I actually did my research so I could help the customer. That's the kind of person I took my job very seriously. It wasn't just I was there for a paycheck. You know,
Sure.
I
Sure.
genuinely care about people, and even now, like I'm open to like, okay, well, how do you do this? How do you keep that? Like I'm still learning when it comes to like shipping. Like I've been shipping with cryo packs. I never ship with heat packs. You know, but this time around, it almost seemed like, oh no, that gecko that the colubra is going to be sending to Austria. Um, there was a possibility if it went through Indianapolis that I was going to need a heat pack. But thank goodness it's going through Memphis. So I don't need one. But I've been talking to different people. Andrew Pino has been amazing answering some of my questions. My friend Nikki at Jumping Jawbreakers, um, Kristen from Krusty Works, they've been giving me some advice. So like honestly, when you have good friends, like you can't go
Absolutely.
wrong.
Absolutely.
In regards to like genetics, person that's been very helpful to me was like Heather from Ley Lines. She has taken time out of her schedule to even draw it, draw it out, and try do the what is it, the Punnett square? I'm probably butchering it. Yeah, and teach me that, and it can be challenging, So just learning from different people, yeah, I think that's important.
So if you could give advice, say someone was coming into the hobby, or say even if you could go back in hindsight and give advice to yourself when you first got into the hobby, what are some tips you would give yourself getting into this, or a kid or somebody that may be getting into the hobby tomorrow, thinking about getting into geckos and maybe building a brand or a name for themselves? What advice would you give that person?
Well, okay, first, I probably wouldn't have gotten all the reptiles that I got. And all of these were non geckos. I used to keep monitors. I've kept bearded dragons, frail dragons, skinks, like leaf-tail geckos. Like back in the day, I actually had satanic leaf-tail geckos before they were popular. Um, I've had everything under the sun, tarantulas, everything. I think if I could do it all again, I wouldn't have done all of that. I would have just gotten my gargoyles and my crystals because that was a lot of money that I
Yeah.
spent. And back then I didn't breed them. At one point I started breeding leopard geckos. So I was breeding. That was like the first thing I was breeding was leopard geckos. And then I got into the cresteds and the gargoyles. So I think in eyesight I probably wouldn't have gotten all those animals, even though I love them. Like I love human behavior and I love animal behavior. I love observing, I like people watching. Like I just think it's interesting. And but for the new people, I would say, you know, look at look at what is it that you really want and save up for it. Because there's a lot of people that won't buy what they really want. They'll buy what they can't afford. You know, that's why like I don't put prices on my geckos when I post them. And the reason I've had some people tell me like, how come you don't do that? It'll be so much easier. And I tell them, well, because when the customer that I'm targeting is the customer that sees that gecko and says, wow, I want that gecko. versus I put one for 100, hypothetically. None of my geckos ever go under 400, first of all, um, unless I'm giving you a bundle deal. But most of the time, even now, none of them go under 400. So I always tell people, like, um, you have to save up for what you really want. Like, I've had people, one gentleman I could think about right now, he shows me all these geckos. No shade to him, but I know he's really trying to get a tiger like mine. But he's buying all these animals that don't look like tigers, and he's only buying them because they're cheap. And one time I did tell him as a friend, because now I kind of see him as a friend, and I told him, I'm sorry, but if you would have just saved your money instead of buying all these geckos that were $25, $40, you would have had the money by now. And I'm your friend. I would have hooked you up. Because it's not about the money. Like, for me, it's not all about the money. Like, yes, I have some geckos that are pricey. Yes. But it's not all about the money. Especially if I know they're going to a good home. If I could tell that you're a really good person, that you're actually, I'm gonna give you a good discount. Because at the end of the day, I want my animals, I want all my geckos to go to a good home. It's not about the money. You know, so I would just say, like, really do your research. What is it that you want, and stick to that. Save your money for what you really want, not necessarily what you can't afford. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I want that customer that is like, wow, I want that gecko no matter what, instead of that customer who's like, man, I liked your, I don't know, hypothetically, well, I liked your $1,000 gecko, but I only have 200. You know what? I'm gonna get this one. I'm like, why are you getting that one? That's not the one you want. So are you even gonna take care of it as well as if you would have gotten the price gecko you wanted? That's the customer that I'm looking for. And so far, I feel like I'm getting that. Yes, sometimes it might take me longer to sell my geckos, but it's okay. I always tell people,
You get what you
you
want
know,
from
yeah, I always feel like, yeah, eventually you have to wait for the right customer. I'm not at that point where, like, I'm breeding that I need to get the money. I need to make sure that, all of these sell because I need to make space for the next ones. Like, no, the right customer will wait. I don't have to lower my prices. And it always does, you know?
It's a good call. Wish more people should do that, instead of just trying to get rid of animals. Like, oh, I tried to sell it for 200, no one bought it, so now it's 25. It's like not really doing
Yeah.
the hobby any justice.
You're undervaluing your geckos. And I think, you know what? I feel like I did that in the beginning. I did devalue my tigers. And there were people that bought my geckos. One of my pet peeves, I will say, without getting negative, I don't I don't like how sometimes people will buy animals from you, and because you're not a big breeder, they don't give you credit. And they'll either take credit for producing the animal, or because that did happen, or they'll
Worst thing you can do.
say, yeah. And especially when you follow their page and you're like, okay. And so you see that and you're like, wow, okay, I will never give you another deal again. Um, or it's all about ethics. You're showing me there, like, I'm a person of my word. My word is my bond. Like I said, I'm old school. I'm 46. I'm not a spring chicken. And for me, it's like manners are important. Person of your word is what matters, like ethics. And I don't care if it's Juan from next door who produced my gecko. I will give him credit. Juan,
Absolutely.
Juan Valdez, whatever his name is. I will put his name, because I
Absolutely.
didn't produce it. And if people are
The
like, oh my
worst
God,
thing you could do in
you
this
know,
hobby. It's like literally the lowest of the lowest
yeah,
low thing I think you could do is take, even if it's a bad animal, take responsibility for someone else's stuff.
yeah,
That's the lowest thing in this hobby I think you could do. Even more so than bad husbandry. I mean, that's like the worst ethical thing you could do is take an animal you did not produce and promote it as if you did. It's
yeah.
as
And
bad
it's
as making up
heartbreaking.
lineage. Like,
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And unfortunately, there's people that will do that. And just because my geckos were cheaper back then. I didn't know their value, or at least I didn't think that I could compete with the big dogs, as they say, right? And but now it's like, no, I'm not undervaluing my geckos. I know what I've invested. I know what I'm producing. I see what I'm producing, and I'm not gonna sell them for less than what they're actually worth, So yeah, but that's my one little pet peeve, It's just give credit where credit is due, especially when, I understand if maybe you don't know the lineage, but the moment that I tell you, hey, that's from so and so and so and so, and you still choose to not post it, it's disrespectful, And but that's the thing with the hobby, though. There's gonna be good characters and bad characters. Any
So that's
hobby,
people. That's
that's
life. Give
people.
people a chance to show you who they are, and they usually will. Good and bad. Give people time; they'll show you who they are.
Absolutely. It's like what they say, listen, pay attention. People will tell you who they are. And don't try to prove them wrong, because sooner or later they'll show you. They'll prove you wrong. You're like, okay. But yeah,
Absolutely
for the most
right.
part, for all the new people, I always say, like, introduce yourself to the breeder. Introduce yourself. Say who you are. Tell them your budget. Be honest. Tell them your budget. Tell them what the geckos you're looking for. Don't ghost them. If you really are not interested, if you have to pass, say it. Just tell the person, you know what, thank you so much, and thank them for their time, because I think that's always the advice that I always give a lot of the new people that they start following me and they want to become breeders. I always tell them, like, thank people for their time. Be polite. Manners go a long way. For me, if you show me manners, like I said, I'm old school. You show me manners, the likelihood that I'm going to be a lot nicer to even hook you up. Or this is my thing. A lot of times I like to give back to the community. I don't do giveaways, never do giveaways. Because if you spend an X amount of dollars with me, if you're a repeat customer, I give you a free gecko. I give you freak animals. I give you discounts. It's not something that I advertise. Obviously people are going to watch now, but it's not something that I normally advertise. But that's my way of giving back. Because again, it's not about the money, but it's show me manners. Manners will take you a long way with me. That's how I am. Like, I'll respect you a lot more, you know, but that's how I am. I treat you how I want to be treated. And that's my expectation. If I treat
Nothing
you
wrong
any
with that.
less, then okay. But yeah, yeah,
Well, that's awesome. That's good. It's good to know. It's good to know that there's still. I mean, there's a lot of good people in this hobby. If I'm being honest. But there's hey, you got to pick our crowds wisely, I guess. And surround
absolutely.
ourselves with like-minded people, and hopefully we get positive results. It's hey, I would suggest just keep doing what you're doing. You obviously know what you're doing. You're doing it right. And I think that again, I don't, in the most respectful way possible, I don't think you have reached where you're gonna go yet. Like you will be very large just for your ethics and attention to detail and personality, humble, polite. I mean, there's just so many things
Thank
about you,
you.
Wendoline, that will bring you to reptile stardom, if you will. You know.
Thank you, thank you. I'm
So
very
where's the
blessed.
best way? It's,
To contact me.
it's good. It's
I'm
humility.
blessed. Honestly, I
Yes,
really
if
am.
someone was wanted to, and I know we talked about it earlier, but purchase animals from you, maybe ask you questions, tap your brain, get some advice from you. Um, any type of contact. Where would be the best place for people to reach you and and I guess just get in touch with you, see what you got going on.
I mean, just send me a private message, literally, to Instagram or
Instagram?
Facebook. Yeah,
And it's your
Facebook.
name everywhere, right?
Mhm.
You're
Yeah,
just your
yeah.
name.
Facebook, the only difference is that Facebook is my private page. That's like my personal page. Same name, everything. But people are able to send me a message. I usually don't add people that I don't know. That's why my page is private on Instagram. I know that it does deter a lot of people. There's a lot of people that they're like, oh, I wanted to see her geckos, but I don't want to send her a follow. And that's okay. I understand. I used to have a Instagram before with a really large following, and I got hacked. And it was really bad. It was really bad. And so then I decided to not have an Instagram for several years. So this is my new one. That's why I only have like 600 something followers. But,
Work.
but yeah, like I don't want to lose all my photos and my videos, and I want to know who's following me. You
Sure.
know, I want to make sure that it's legit, and I love having the conversations with people. So yeah, just you can always message me on Instagram or Facebook. I usually do reply within the same day. I'm very responsive. Like I do reply. Um, so yeah, that's about it. Because yeah, I don't have a morph market. I don't have a website. Like
Mhm. Good. I respect that.
I keep it small.
I
I
respect
keep
that.
my circle small. I'm actually a really private person. It's like I feel sometimes,
Yeah.
you know what they say, right? The less people know of you, the less you're in people's mouths, right? And so when it comes to like my private life, I am very,
Amen.
very
Sure.
private. Um, but like my reptile, my Instagram is all reptiles. You're not really gonna see anything really personal there. Um, but yeah, any questions? I love answering questions, but I always
So
ask,
how does so they just send you a message? Like, cause if your page is private and someone does see this and wants to reach out to you, they would have to send you a friend request then. Or can
yeah,
they
they'll
just
send me
message
a
you?
request. I believe you could send a request as well, without being my friend. I want to say you can, but normally I think you would have to send me a request first.
And then you could see who it is too, guys. So
Hmm.
guys, don't come with no bullshit, man. Come correct. Come correct. Be humble, be polite,
Yeah,
and you may
yeah.
have a new tool in your toolbox, man. I mean, just
Absolutely, because I'm always willing to help. And it's like the hard part is when
a
sometimes
lot of these little
you have people.
jackasses out there like to just
Yeah.
inbox you and be wise asses
Hmm.
and people don't have time. We're grown ass people, man. We don't got time for that kid stuff,
Absolutely,
man. You know, we
absolutely.
ain't
Like
got
I
time
have
for that.
another job. I'm an ABA technician with kids with autism, and that's what I do.
It's awesome.
So I work with kids with autism. So all I do is like behavior modification.
So
I
my
love it. I
ex-wife
love my
was,
job. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, you'll be surprised the number of people that I get that they'll just say available. Like that's literally their message. Available, and it's not even the actual word. It's like an abbreviation. And I'd be like, I've told my friends like available. Are they asking me out? Are they asking if
right?
I'm available?
Right?
Are they, and then you're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like, oh, the gecko you posted. I'm like, I posted 40 geckos. Which one are you? I'm so sorry. And I try to be always very polite. And I tell them, you know what? Thank you so much for the inquiry. Which gecko are you looking for? Every gecko that I have has a collage and a hatch date. Which gecko? You could take a screenshot. Like, but yeah, some people don't want to take the effort. And that's the thing. Sometimes I get so
Shows you a
many
lot
of
about people
those.
too.
Yeah. And I get
Right?
so many of those kind of messages that sometimes I won't reply. I would just delete it because it's like if you can't send me a complete sentence, then I'm not gonna bother with you, you
Don't
know,
blame you, right? Just treating
because
people the way they treat you. If you can't
it's
come
courtesy.
to me as a human and communicate and give me a full sentence, listen, we're not even going to go down this road. We're not going to go back and forth with two word. We're just
Yeah.
keep it moving. No
Well, yeah, because
sense.
you're trying to figure out what they're saying before they even ask you the question. So it's kind of like, what are you talking about? So, and like I said, I always try to be really polite, and that's because I'm a strong believer that like every time you walk out your door, you're representing your family. Every time you have contact with somebody, you're representing your family. So represent them wisely.
You said you're
Show that
Mexican.
respect. I am Mexican. I'm from Mexico.
One of my best friends, literally my brother, is Mexican. Mark Anthony Espinoza. Like hard body Mexican, like as Mexican as you get Mexican. And I tell you what, I'm Italian. Our cultures are very, very similar. He talks to my grandmother. He's part of my family. But I don't know how to explain it. And please don't take this the wrong way, because I mean it with the utmost respect. Mexican culture is, there's not much you can say about it. I mean, that's how you should treat people. That is beautiful. It's old. It's traditional. It's very, very Italian. Very, very much, how you are. Your family is everything. You represent your family. Your family shit represents you when you're not out. I mean, it's just that whole mentality is beautiful. It's culture. It's culture. It's culture. And there is a lot of beauty in culture, and Mexican culture just happens to be an extremely beautiful culture.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
good for you. Stand by that.
Yeah.
Don't ever let that
No.
die. That's a
I
beautiful
give all
way
the
to
credit
live.
to my
Beautiful
mom.
way to be. There you go.
It's my mom.
Good.
She's the one who educated me, so I give her all the
Good
credit.
for her. Good for her. And they don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're over 2 hours now. Do you have any shout outs, any products, anything? The stage is yours. And anything you want to say to anybody, anybody you want to promote to come on the show, anything that we didn't talk about that you want to say? Close us out.
Well, there's so many amazing people. I mean, so many amazing
True.
people that have
True.
helped
Don't
me.
take offense to
And,
anybody that's,
so many
this
people
isn't
have
a
helped me, right?
shooting shot
Whether,
at people.
yeah, like whether it's, Kristen from Crestworks, Nikki from Jumping Jawbreakers. She's
We gotta
freaking
talk about
amazing.
Chris. I
Yeah,
talk about her every
yeah,
show.
you know what I mean? Heather from Leyline, especially like the science part. Oh my gosh, like she's
Her
so
episode
smart.
is next
She's
week.
so
I
smart.
just interviewed her. She's
You
awesome.
know,
Yeah.
she's really cool. She's a really cool person. Then,
She's down
there's
near you, isn't she? In Cali? She's in Cali
yeah,
too somewhere.
yeah. We hang out sometimes. She's
Oh,
really
no
cool.
shit. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's awesome.
I wish I could hang out with Kristen though. Like I would love to, but I would have to fly to Texas. Yes,
Text.
it's not
Yeah,
gonna
big
happen.
text.
So she's gonna have to come down. She told me she has to come down. But yeah, a lot of amazing people. I mean, Serena from Cannabis Geckos helped me so much in the past. Every time I would have a question. I mean, she ships everywhere, she's so cool, and then Kim from the Gecko Geek. I know that she doesn't do a lot on social media, but she still does shows. And I feel like I've learned so much from her. She helped me from the beginning, and then of course, I know that Kimberly Kay doesn't breed anymore, but I'm still grateful for what the knowledge that she did bring to the hobby. I know that, it at the end it didn't go that great. I know the whole story, but at the end of the day, she still produced amazing geckos, and I'm still grateful to have acquired some of my geckos, because without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. My tigers would not be what they are today. Same goes with my friend. I would say H. I think she'll know H from Assorted Serpents. Assorted Serpents and Geckos. She produced truffle and she produced kimchi, which are two of my best female gargoyles. And so I always tell her every time I post something, I'm like, look, these are your great grandkids, or this is, and I told her like, thank you so much for giving me giving me the opportunity to buy her. And she's like, Wendoline, you're doing everything, give yourself credit. And I'm like, no, this is thanks to you. Like that's how I am. I don't forget like where I come from and stuff. And so yeah, there's just so many amazing people. Melanie from Bertopia, Nikki from Dixie Reptiles. She's helped me a lot. Andrew Pino, he was helping me this week with some questions. And yeah, there's just a lot of amazing people out there.
Who would you nominate? My last question, because I got to shut
Yes.
up or I'll keep going. Who would you nominate? Give me 3 nominations of people that haven't been on the podcast that you would like to see on the podcast, that you think have great information that would really be good guests on the show.
Kim from the Gecko Geek. I would like her. Actually, I haven't seen anybody really interview anymore. Gargoyle Queen. I think she's extremely knowledgeable. Um, and then I think Serena from Canvas Geckos. Yeah, I love my female breeders. I saw the podcast you did of with Erin from Southern Girl Reptiles. Oh, her geckos are amazing,
Well,
and she's amazing.
I
Hmm.
have a series where I like to, and I'm not trying to be sexist because I'm clearly not, but
Hmm.
I just like to put the spotlight on the women. I have a series that's, based off powerful, influential women in the hobby, and I enjoy showing people how brilliant you women are. How brilliant, how powerful. You guys are great businessmen. You have an eye. You guys are. I mean, this is the world, obviously, but this is a world in where men and women are on equal playing fields. It's and sometimes I feel, a lot of my friends or girls, I feel like they get, kind of out overspoken, if you will. I'm not saying everybody. I'm not trying to say it in a negative way. I want to show the world how incredible women in this hobby are. So I run that little segment, and these would all be great guests for that.
Absolutely, because I feel like people
Erin
have
is a
always
beast.
said, yeah, I know you interviewed her. Like I saw that interview. It was really cool. Um, yeah, I respect her a lot. Like she produces amazing
She's super
gargoyles.
cool, super down to earth, and she's a bad
You know what?
bitch,
She's
man.
straight out.
She don't play.
There's
I
no
mean, like on a
no.
real world stuff. Like she is. Erin is.
Just use what you get.
Love it,
She's very
love it,
transparent. You
love it.
know,
And cool as hell. Cool.
yeah,
Hey,
and I love
that's
her for
her,
that.
right? That's her.
I love her
God
for that. I
bless.
respect her for that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think those. I mean, because I feel like the Gecko Geek doesn't get. I don't feel like she gets the attention that she should. Because she's so down
Sometimes
to
they don't
earth.
want it, I have
You
to
know,
admit. Sometimes a lot of and some incredible breeders don't want the attention. They like to do what they do and that's their piece. And I understand that and I respect that, and it's kind of been a learning curve for myself too, because I'll see some people and I'm like, I want to go out of my way I want to make you famous, like I want to, let's show the world who you are. And they're like, that's cool, I appreciate it, but I don't want it. I don't want it. I
right?
don't want
Yeah,
to. I like doing what I'm doing, and and I get it. It's been humbling. Not that people that I see that I want to be bigger than they are. It's kind of selfish of me. Like I want them to be bigger. I want people to see how good they are. They don't want that, and
yeah,
that's, I just assumed, I guess, that everybody wouldn't. Why wouldn't they want to be recognized more for what they, how good they are at doing what they love to do? But
yeah.
some just don't, and
They don't want
I
that.
I,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, like I haven't seen many interviews with like Barbara from Creepy Exotics, and I'm not sure if she's still breeding, but she was like considered the queen of tricolors. And like I respect her a lot, but I don't know if she's still breeding nowadays. But she still has some amazing geckos, you know, because I feel like a lot of the female breeders that I had, that I had contact with, like I felt like they were always so helpful. They were always very patient and willing to listen and
Women are.
in compared to some of the men, they were what I found with some men, not all of them, because not all men are like this. Some of the male breeders were just extremely direct, and right away, this is the price, that's it. Like they did not want to have an actual conversation. So,
Naturally, that's
no,
part of them have a naturally more a nurturing. They're just more nurturing. It's, they want to help. Women, in my experience, genuinely want to help everyone, let alone something they're passionate about. It's not a secret. I'm a man and I can tell you, I don't have it in me to be as patient as you are. I consider myself a very good person. I would never lie to someone. I wouldn't belittle someone. There's a lot of things I wouldn't do, but I tell you what, there's still a lot of things that I just can't do. I'm a manly man. I don't have it in me to do what a woman can do. I just, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful to anybody. I just, women have a gift. Women are definitely more patient than men.
And I honestly think that when we are, like patient and we're willing to talk, that's what makes people want to buy our geckos. I feel that that's what's been so helpful to me, because I've had friends who breed geckos, and they're like, man, why don't, you should advertise me. And I'm like, girl, like I have a private page. I don't have no website. I have no morph market. And I'm like, and they're like, how do you sell so many geckos, Wendoline? I'm like, because I talk to the customer. Because I talk to everybody like I know you. I make you feel comfortable. And the truth of the matter is that if you're comfortable with somebody, you're gonna buy from them. I've had customers who've told me, who now are friends, who've told me, you know what, Wendoline? Because I told them, you know what, I don't have that morph, but you know what, so and so has that morph. Or hey, if you want another person that has really cool geckos, like that's what I do. I'll tell them, and I'll even do screenshots of their pages. I'm like, I recommend all these breeders. These breeders are legit. You know, their photos are not Photoshop. They're really nice, really friendly. And they're like, yeah, but I'm talking to you. Like I'm comfortable with you, and it's like, oh, well, thank you then. But that's how I am. Like, to me, it's not losing business. To me, it's like, hey, I'm telling you, like, I might not have that morph, or I might not have what you're looking for, but hey, this person might have it. And just by being honest, or I even tell them, even if you're not gonna buy a gecko from me, if you want my honest opinion about that gecko, you're free to ask me. I have no problem with that. You know?
Sure. It's awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on here tonight. I am extremely sorry that I was.
No, you did great.
I
You
gave
did
it all I
fantastic.
could. I wasn't 100% myself, but you made it easy. You were a pleasure to talk to. You were easy to talk to, and I love what you do. I am extremely grateful that we are able to get you on here, and I don't think we would have enough time in 3 podcasts to talk about everything I could talk to you about. So it would be a pleasure, a blast, and an honor to have you back at some point, where we could talk about a lot of other things that are, clearly I didn't get to talk about. Yeah, I'm very, very, very thankful that we're able to make this happen, and and get you on here. I really, 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 really appreciate your time. And I know it wasn't easy. I know you had to take the time off from work. I know you gave up to do this, and
It was important.
I can't be. I honestly can't express the full level of my gratitude. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I feel really humbled at the fact that you would even want to interview me, and it means a lot to me. Like, honestly, it really
Best
does
Tigers
mean
in
a
the
lot.
game. So I won.
Thank you. Whenever you're ready, I got you. I got you.
I'm we'll talk. We're definitely going to talk. I'm honing in. I mentally got, like I said, build this project. I go through this whole weird thing, but you're top 3. You'll know when I'm ready. I don't play games. I send money.
Money
Hang with
talks.
me for listen.
Money's
I
king.
work hard for mine.
That's right.
All right, guys, hang with me after I hit end just to make sure everything uploaded real quick. Guys, again, I apologize for the whole mouth thing. I appreciate you guys for bearing with me. Thank you guys for stopping by for another episode of New Cow Corner. Again, be polite, be humble, but shoot Wendoline a message, guys. If you're, serious about learning and building some strong connections and ties in this hobby, and, someone you could be friends with, forever, shoot her a message. Be polite. Introduce yourself.
I'm Mexican. The more the merrier.
Introduce yourselves and speak in full sentences. You'd be surprised how
Absolutely.
many, more people respond to you. And again, stay weird, people. Be you.
Yes. Thank you.
Peace.